How do you feel about the concept of the new normal when it comes to families or having children?
I think it's just important for the kid to have somewhere somewhere safe to grow up. Like the old normal is, I guess, husband, wife, but that obviously doesn't always work out. There's so many cases of abuse and stuff. So as long as the kid is safe and happy and provided for, I don't think it matters who's doing the providing.
Like, a lot of people have issues with like gay couples having children, but I feel like if they're in a stable home, like the parents have jobs and like it's something they really want, then I support that 100%.
Homosexuals want to be married, they should be able to, and if they want children, they should be allowed to have them. However, I don't think that they should maybe enforce certain beliefs upon their children.
Where do you feel women are in terms of today's society when it comes to socially, politically, educationally, vocationally, and simply just in comparison to men?
I think they're equal, I would say, compared to times before. I guess they don't feel like men are superior to women at all. They can do the same jobs mostly that men can do.
The men, I still feel like we're not as advanced, we're not looked up as high enough, especially payment-wise, wages and all that.
Do you think it is feasible and beneficial of the United States and other countries around the world to provide a healthcare plan that ensures every citizen the right to healthcare?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's important because basically, if everyone doesn't have the opportunity to get healthcare, then a lot of times, I mean, you could like die from something just because you don't have the funds to pay for it. And I think everyone deserves the opportunity to go to a hospital.
We can't do much as a species if our constituent people, aren't healthy. If we're always trying to, if we're tripping over. If we're always caught up, taking care of ourselves over things that we've learned how to cure, years ago, there's no point in, I mean, it's just, that's kind of like the most basic thing we should be doing for all of us.
Taxing the rich and more wealthy citizens more heavily justify the well-being of citizens in poor circumstances.
They should be taxed a little more heavily, but not like unrealistically. I mean, they have a lot more resources than the poor do, so I mean, I think rich people should be taxed a little bit more heavily.
Do you believe that the relationship of people of different race or color are improving throughout our country?
Right now, I'd probably say no. I don't know why. I don't have really an answer for why people have so much hatred toward people with differences. But
Two kind of answers come to mind. One is, at the personal level. I mean, I don't think so. You never hear the stories about a white police officer pulling over a black guy who was speeding and everything going perfectly fine. It doesn't make good news. But and I mean, same thing goes. I mean, and that's how cable news works. I mean,
I think especially in the South with like race, especially like racism, it's one of those things where if you mention it, people are just like, oh, that doesn't exist, oh, that's done, and they sweep it under the rug, and then that's how it continues to survive because no one will ever address it and just say, yes, this is racism, yes, this is happening. Because I mean, just like with an addiction, you have to like admit that you have an addiction first. So you have to admit that something is racist, or admit that it exists in order for us to address it.
Which is more important in your personal opinion? The idea of conformity and social norm, or the idea of individualistic expression?
I think individualistic expression is more important, even if that's not always what happens. I think that like being yourself and expressing who you truly are is going to bring you a lot more happiness. But
Individualistic expression.
Individualistic expression.
Can you elaborate more?
Because if you be yourself, and if you are yourself and your true self, then everything should go well. You end up finding people that more relate to you in a sense. But if you talk about conformity in relation to the government, that's another story. I think that all of our differences is what makes us special.
The society that you're in, especially here in the States, we kind of like to express and embody this idea of being individuals and being ourselves. But if you look at other cultures, they definitely like to kind of promote this idea of conformity and this concept of the group is more important than the individual. So it kind of depends on where you're going, and it really depends on the situation. So.